The UK's newest dark ride is finally testing, and I have footage from outside and inside the ride of it doing its thing. A very exciting trademark has been made for a new theme park coming to the UK with some new findings on the future site of it too, and alongside new opening date announcements, brand new track going in, and all of that jazz. There's been a lot of cuts as well, especially at Merlin. It has been one busy week because all that and even more has happened this past week in theme parks. Yes, welcome back to another episode of one of the YouTube series of all time, where funnily enough, we take a look at everything that has happened in the past week at theme parks. So as per usual, there is a lot of news to take in. So if you want to skip to specific stories within this video, use the progress bar down below. And if you haven't already, use the subscribe button if you enjoy this video. We are getting closer to the new theme park season, so more content will be coming out very soon. So yeah, subscribe if you don't want to miss any of it. And so you don't miss future episodes of this series, because this episode is starting now. I need to actually talk about the news now. Starting with, of course, our little section where we quick fire off the smaller things that have happened and the things that I've already covered but have just progressed, because nobody wants to hear about them in great detail for the 100th time. Starting off with two rides I've been talking about non-stop and I can't wait to stop. Siren's Curse finally has its tilt track section in, of course, being a Vekoma tilt coaster. It has that piece of track that goes like this. And that has now gone in, alongside Wrath of Rakshasa, which is a dive coaster, so another steep drop. That has now been topped off right at the top of the track on the top of the lift hill, so all that track up there towards the drop and everything is complete. Now I don't have to talk about either of them until they test. Alpenfury at Canada's Wonderland has had its trains delivered, and they are currently in some wrapping, so we can't see them, but we actually already know what they look like from IAPA. So I don't know why they're keeping it secret. Georgia Gold Rusher over at Six Flags Over Georgia, funnily enough, has had its track fully repainted now, and it is looking a very nice colour. If you don't know, this coaster was supposed to open last year under a different theme, and they've then gone and said a new ride's opening this year, but it's just that one repainted and reskinned. Fantastic, Six Flags. Mission Bermuda over at Futuroscope in France. I did actually mention this last time, and the fact we have an opening day and, you know, they've spent this XYZ amount on it. And I spoke about a video of it testing, and I only had screen grabs because I couldn't actually find the video. I've found the video now, and here you are, there it goes. The water looks very vicious, but it's actually on a track underneath with loads of magnets and stuff. But yeah, this looks like an insane water ride. I don't know who the hell thought of making that, but I hope more of these get built because they look incredible. Quantum Accelerator over at Six Flags New England, a brand new ride opening this year, has had its first pieces of track and support go vertical. And finally, in this quick fire segment, Do-Dodonpa over in Fuji-Q Highland, the world's fastest accelerating coaster, or it used to be because it's being removed, and Stealth at Thorpe Park took its record. No! Six Flags fans, I don't care about Max Force. But that was really sad to see, and deconstruction photos have shown that they are well underway with that. Not even just in the past week, but in the past month, in the past year, in the past millennium. That was a massive jump from a year to a millennium. All of those projects are quite exciting, the fact they're continuing on and getting bigger and better. But the new stuff that has happened this week is very intriguing. Starting with Indiana Beach. I don't think we've reported on this one yet in this series. But Husia Hurricane, their wooden roller coaster, is having ongoing retracking efforts, smoothing sections from the bottom of the first drop to the back turn for a seamless ride, and they focused attention under the bridge where slight profile adjustments are creating smoother transitions. That might have been the smartest thing I've said in ages, and I just read it out. Can't wait to see the retrack. Retracking, you say? Why don't we talk about destruction? That was one of the worst segues ever. Kingda car at Six Flags Great Adventure. Of course, we've been following this for quite a while. The fact it is getting removed soon and imploded. But photos have shown now that the entire airtime hill on the ride has been removed. It was starting to be removed last week, and now it has been fully removed for the implosion to take place in a matter of days. That is going to be insane to see, and potentially next week I'll be reporting on that. So subscribe if you want to stay up to date on the implosion of Kingda car. That's going to be ridiculous. I can't wait to see that. Going back to Canada's Wonderland again, Time Warp, their Zamperla Valere, might be on the chopping block to be removed this year. I hope and pray that this model of ride goes extinct. If you're unaware, there is one in the UK called Hero, and it is at Flamingoland. I rode it all day back in 2023. Worst day of my life. Well, it weren't that bad, but it was just very painful. So I don't know how it's still standing there. To hear one of them might be on the chopping block very soon is very interesting to hear, and I hope more are in the future. And talking of killing off rides, one thing that does kill off a lot of rides mid-ride is trim brakes. Whilst you're going through an amazing layout on a certain ride, you can hit a trim brake halfway through and you'll suddenly go, and the ride will slow down as a result. And a lot of people, as said, think it kills rides. And a new ride coming to Epic Universe at Universal Resort in Florida has now been pictured with new trim brakes installed. And that is Stardust Racers. Now the trim brake is on a drop and it doesn't look to do too much. I've seen comparison videos and it does look a slight bit slower, but it's not that noticeable, I don't think. And on ride it shouldn't be anyway. Yeah, I thought I'd mention that because a lot of American enthusiasts seem absolutely livid that these two little metal fins have installed themselves on this ride. But if everyone calms down, I don't think it will be too noticeable. Tell you what will be noticeable though, a 300-foot plus B&M Dive Coaster. And this will supposedly be happening at Six Flags Over Texas. A load of new filings were made for a brand new construction project called Project Ruby. And this will be happening between March 2025 and 2026, so I'd imagine this might open in 2026, and the pinpointed height markers of this layout of ride. If you piece them all together, a few sections are about 160 foot tall, 200 foot tall, and of course the main points 308 and 309 feet tall. Which you might think, why is it a B&M Giga Dive Coaster? Why can't it be something else? Why can't it be that Zamperla Valère from Canada's Wonderland? Well, in August, there was a survey put out by Cedar Fair and Six Flags asking what rides people would like to see, and one of them was a 300-foot tall dive coaster. And at that rate, you just put two and two together, and it seems pretty likely that's what that's going to be. But it'll be interesting to see this become a thing. Nonetheless, Universal Studios are busy building their brand new kids theme park in Texas. As you can see here, some very low quality images of this construction taking place. And this, as I said, will be a kids centric theme park. So there'll be no Velocicoaster, no, I don't know, Jurassic Park 14 looping roller coaster. It's all very family friendly with a hotel and everything like that. So, and it's a lot smaller too. Unlike, this is a very good segue for me to go over to the UK and Europe, the potential Universal Studios Great Britain. That is going to be a huge piece of land. So anyone thinking that it's going to be an entire kids park and that's going to be it, it's way bigger than that one in Texas, so I think this is going to be a proper theme park. But as much as we've seen this government conversation of what's going on with Universal and when are they going to announce everything, and they're being very cagey, we have had a trademark filed for the words Universal Studios here in the UK and in Europe. It was filed in the past week. As you know, we're up to date here, and I just think that is so exciting to see. We could literally be seeing an announcement in the next few months, or we could see it in a few years. You never know. But without telling us, I think that they're going to start construction for this theme park very, very soon. So soon, in fact, some might be starting already. So I have sent down a correspondent of this past week in theme parks news team to go and check it out and see what's going on. Briefly. Over to you. Hello. Live reporting from the Universal Bedford site. Not in the field, on the road just outside the field. If you zoom in over there, you can see some Harris fencing and some concrete blocks and some stuff wrapped in wrapping. This is interesting because not only, as I said, did the Universal Studios trademark get trademarked, but there is work going on, and I think we are not far from this announcement. Maybe there'll be a field episode soon. Ta-ra. Back to the studio. Thank you. Me? I appreciate your meaningful words. Universal aside though, over in Europe we have some news over from Plopsaland on one of their oldest rides being changed. Their powered coaster called DigitalDan. When I first saw this story, I saw it come up and I thought, because it was obviously not in English, so I was a bit confused. At first I thought maybe it was on the chopping block, maybe it was getting removed. No, it's just getting renamed. I think it's to do with like a small little re-theme going on, and it's going to now be called, instead of DigitalDan, Draconis. not that different. Don't really know what's going on there, but maybe I'll go down later in the year to check that out. As I really want to, and as I said in my vlogs recently, the Efteling Grand Hotel. Of course, visiting recently, I did see the entire structure covered in scaffolding. Well, that scaffolding has now been taken down, and you can see the hotel in all of its glory, and it looks absolutely amazing. Very similar to the concept art, of course, and they've even put a piece of concept art of the entire front entrance area and that hotel in front of where it's going to be now. I love Efteling so much, although I love Europa Park that little bit more. And they have a brand new ride coming in 2025, which is going to be something based on their new film. Ed and Edda's Grand Prix Adventure. It's Adventure, not Adventure. I can't respect that. But it's a new film based on the park's mascots, and they have made a ride based on the film of their park. This is going to be a gameplay theatre ride by Mack Rides. As you can see from this animation, it's going to have these little like gondola things, and you can switch round to the other side, and it's all in a circle. And those in the UK, this might look familiar to you, but I need to talk about that later. But Europa Park have given us a look inside the ride, and it's very brickwork orientated at the minute, and it's very dark walls on the actual ride system. I'm assuming we'll see some stuff from the film, maybe on some screens and everything like that, so hopefully it ends up being a really good interactive dark ride. Joy, or Joy apparently as it's pronounced, which I wasn't aware of, over at Walibi, Holland, that has had its opening day announced. April the 5th. And that's going to be a very soon opening date. Crazy to me that they've announced the opening date for 2 RMC Raptors and Alton Towers haven't announced the opening date for a Toxicator. Stay tuned when I visit in June for a vlog of me riding these 2 RMC Raptors. We really need an RMC in the homeland, the motherland of the United Kingdom, that we're actually going to travel back over to now. Welcome back to England, where not everything amazing has been going on. Some good things, I guess. Hyperia over at Thorpe Park. There's been some photos circling of some AstroTurf or fake grass, or maybe even real grass, going in around the queue line instead of those wood chippings. I don't really know what looks better. Didn't know it was a grass channel now. Whilst at Thorpe Park, Slammer is very much on its way out still. We of course saw it being removed last week. This week, it is pretty much all gone. I think maybe when this video is posted, there's like one part of the tower still left on the left. On the left, and maybe some parts of the ride and like the op cabin and stuff. That'll all be there for quite some time before they remove that, but they're making good progress on getting that out. As they are, so sadly, with Drenched at Oakwood. Over in Wales, they're pretty much only theme park with the amazing Megaphobia and Waterfall, that amazing water ride. And they had this amazing water ride in Drenched. It had like a near vertical drop, and it had over the shoulder restraints, made a massive splash as well. That's now getting dismantled. The park haven't stated that it is going yet. It isn't on the website or anything like that though. And also this image has been circling around. It might be a fake image. It might just be a construction image and everyone's been trolled. It looked like such a cool ride. I literally went there when it was open and I was just too young to ride it, so I couldn't go on it. And I am absolutely gutted that I can't go on it now. We need to stop removing these rides. So why don't we add some? Like Southport Pleasureland might be doing. Sorry, Adventure Coast Southport. Because that is right, they have now got a brand new logo and name. Instead of Southport Pleasureland, it is now Adventure Coast Southport. I just said that. And then they have that roller coaster in the background, which is very confusing to me because a while back there was a rumor they were going to get a Zamperla Thunderbolt, which is this thing here, and it is orange and white, and it has similar inversions to what is shown on this graphic. And then we also had the owner of the park suggesting they were getting a Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster, and it had a very similar layout to what we're seeing on that image there. So God knows which one of those two it's gonna be, but I'll take either or. Whether it be for this year or next year now, I think it's good to see another coaster, especially at Southport Adventure Coast. Very happy with that, as I am the fact that the Merlin VIP track walks are back at certain and select parks. They have, of course, as with everything Merlin, gone up in price. But yeah, if you want to walk up Oblivion or Wicker Man, do it. Have fun. But on the topic of Merlin again, I have to talk about this. I'm going to repeat exactly what I said last time when I started this segment. What on earth is happening at Merlin? Last time an article came out about the fact that loads of staff and sort of roles were being removed from certain parks, and we didn't know if it was going to be for all the Merlin attractions or just the theme parks. Well, a staff member from Legoland has come out and pretty much said that there's going to be barely any shows this year especially the pirate show that happens at that lighthouse because of these budget cuts. And it makes sense because it's been removed from the website as well, so it's not even there. It's just some other shows that are probably just films or whatever. Alton Towers' website also just says CBeebies Land shows. There's nothing about stuff on the lawns, or heck knows if Alton Bear's even going to turn up. And like I said, even further back, there are just no events happening this year by the seams of it. And I know Merlin have said it's restructuring and it's going to benefit them in the future. It's not benefiting park goers, and especially your staff. I'm not a businessman, of course, so I probably can't talk too much about this and know everything. But all I will say again is I have no idea what's going on with Merlin at the moment. It's an absolutely dire situation, and my heart goes out to all the staff that are affected by this. It's just ridiculous. But on a more positive note, the main thing I wanted to talk about in this past week, because it is quite a big thing for the UK, Paultons Park have been making some advancements on their brand new for 2026 and their brand new for 2025 rides, with the new one for this year finally testing, and I'll get onto that in a moment, because the park did open the other day, and I did visit that park on its opening day, and walking over towards where Cobra is, there is a massive section of construction walls up and ready for the Viking themed area. But the area itself is a lot bigger in person, and I genuinely could see 2 or 3 new rides, whether they be roller coasters or big rides themselves, coming to that area, because yeah, like I said, it is a huge area of land. With the go-karts being gone as well, that is also a piece of land that has been completely sort of cleared, and that is again huge. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of roller coaster or ride there. That would probably happen in 2027, but for now, 2025. What's happening now? Ghostly Manor, of course, the brand new dark ride, the UK's newest dark ride, and it looks like it's going to be one of the UK's best ones too. And this, like I said earlier with the Europa Park new dark ride, is very familiar because it's the same thing. But obviously Paultons Park isn't getting one themed to the film based on Europa Park. We're getting one based on a ghostly manor. Hence why it's called Ghostly Manor. That gameplay theatre thing I showed you, the rotating platform, they've showed us the inside of it a little bit on their videos. That is what it's going to be, with guns. But having gone there, we got a chance to see outside the ride and the facade, and it does look very, very good. But it's not finished yet, so I shall hold my judgment. So what we couldn't do, of course, is go inside the building. But the park could, because in another very consistent series on the Paultons Park YouTube channel, they've been taking us through loads of different construction phases of this project, and the most recent one in the past week was the ride testing. And of course, it's not going to be running at full speed, or the area itself inside is not fully finished. Yeah, you can see it testing in all of its glory right there, and I'm just so excited to go on this. Paultons Park absolutely smashed the past few themed areas, and just from the outside of this, I know they've smashed it in here as well. Considering it's going to have multiple pre-shows and everything, it's just going to be insane. So is the Viking area and whatever comes afterwards. But yes, Ghostly Manor, Dr. Kinley's rotating gameplay theatre machine is rotating and testing, and it looks very good. So leave your thoughts down below on what you think of Ghostly Manor, what you think of everything that's happened today, what's been the most interesting news piece, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.